Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to the class on human resource management. And the topic that we are going to cover today is called job analysis. So let us have a look at what all topics are we going to cover under job analysis today. Now, first of all, after learning the topic of job analysis, you will be able to discuss what is job analysis, what are the components of job analysis and its process. You will be able to understand and use at least three methods of collecting job analysis information, including interviews, questionnaires, and observation. You will be able to write job descriptions, including job summary, functions, and you will be also able to write job specifications for different jobs in your organization. And finally, you will be able to understand the importance, significance, or purpose of job analysis. So let us start with what do you initially understand by a job? Now, we all know that jobs are dynamic in nature and they are subject to change from time to time because of the changes in technology, because of environmental changes. So, what is required is that before you are assigning work to the people or to your workforce, as a HR manager, you need to examine the jobs scientifically, and you need to make a clear distinction of the different tasks, duties, and responsibilities which are needed to perform the job clearly, as was also told by Taylor, father of scientific management. So, what manager, as a HR manager, what do you need to do? You need to design the jobs keeping in mind what is the need of the job for the individual and for the organization as a whole. That is, meeting the expectations of the individuals who will be working for your organization, and at the same time keeping in mind the need of the organization in order to design a job. That why as an organization are we designing this particular job, what objective do we wish to accomplish. But what a job is, what do you mean by the term job? So as you can see on the screen, job is generally defined as a set of closely related activities which are carried out for pay, or it can also be defined as a collection of tasks, duties, and responsibilities which together are assigned to an individual employee. Let us have an example here. Suppose you are working as a sales executive. Your job is of sales executive, whereby your tasks, your duties, and your responsibilities are to sell products. Say you are working with an insurance company, so you are selling insurance products. You are reporting to the company on time. You are visiting clients in order to give presentations and making clients aware about your products. You are reporting to your supervisor about the sales that you have achieved from time to time. And you are also informing your supervisor about the leads that you have and the conversion of those leads into sales. And in return of this, what are you getting? You are getting salary from the company. And in case you meet your target, then you are given commission or some sort of incentives on monthly basis. Now, that is what a job is, whereby there are certain tasks or activities that you have to perform. There is a set of duties and some responsibilities which together are assigned to an individual employee, and all these activities are related to each other. Because if I talk about a job, for example, a job of a sales executive, then all the activities that he is performing are related to the job that he is doing, that is making sales. Now, traditionally, it used to be thought that in the organizations, jobs are static, which means that jobs do not change. But in the present scenario, we all are aware that jobs are dynamic in nature and they keep changing depending upon the demands. So, in order to understand the changing nature of the job, as a HR manager, you have to gather all the information about the job from time to time. Now, in an organization, there is not one job that is being performed. There are several jobs which are available in an organization. So what do you need to do? You need to gather information about these separate jobs which are available in your organization and do a detailed examination of these jobs in order to find out what are the requirements from a job holder and what are the specifications or the qualifications that a job holder needs to have in order to take this particular job. And this process is called job analysis. Okay, so what is job analysis? In order to identify that what a job holder has to do at a particular job or at a particular position, under what circumstances he has to perform the job, that is what working conditions will be provided at this particular job or at this particular position, and what qualifications will be required from the job holder is being studied through the process which is called job analysis. All right. The definition of job analysis, which has been given by Beers and Ryu, says that job analysis is the process of determining and reporting pertinent information related to the nature of a specific job, which means that all the information like identification of the tasks or activities which will be comprising of the skills that are required to perform the job, knowledge and ability and the responsibility which are required out of the job holder for the successful job performance is being collected through the process of your job analysis. All right, moving ahead. Now, according to Edwin B. Flippo, he says job analysis is the process of studying and collecting information related to the operations and responsibilities of a specific job. So if I put it in other words, then I can say that job analysis is process of getting information about job incumbent's skills, his education, his training in order to carry out the job effectively on time. Now, what is his responsibility? That as per the deadline given to the employee, he has to perform the job. As per the performance standards set for him, he has to perform the job. All right. So that is what is being said by Edwin B. Flippo for the definition of job analysis. Further, Richard Henderson says job analysis is the methodical compilation and study of work data in order to define and characterize each occupation in such a manner as to distinguish it from all others. So what he's trying to say is that as a part of job analysis, what are you doing? It is a method whereby you're compiling all the work related data that is performed at a particular job, and thereby you are distinguishing this job from all the other jobs which are available in the organization in terms of the operations or the tasks which are performed at a particular job, which would be different from all the other jobs available in the organization. Now, please, as a student of human resource management, understand that job analysis is one of the most important functions of human resource management. And it is an important personal activity, that is HR activity, because it is going to identify what people do in their job and what they require in order to do their job satisfactorily. All right. Now, having understood the definition of job analysis, let us try to understand the process of job analysis. How is job analysis carried out? All right, so as you can see on your slide, the very first step in the process of conducting job analysis is organizational analysis. Then the second step is called selecting representative positions. Third step is called collecting the data for the analysis, then reviewing of the collected data. Finally, the outcome which we will be receiving from this conducting of job analysis is preparation of job description and preparation of job specification. Now, I'll be also telling you what is the importance of conducting job analysis, but a little later. Let us first understand each of these steps in the process of job analysis. Now, as I said, the first step is talking about organizational analysis. Now, what happens in organizational analysis? You get an overall picture of all the jobs which are available in your organization. Okay, so why are we doing organizational analysis? In order to find out what is the relationship of different jobs which are available to each other, and how these different jobs in the organization are related to the organizational objectives which have been set. Now, the jobs which are identical to each other are put into one group. For example, all the jobs which are related to sales and marketing would be put into one group, which would be called a job family. And that group would be called as a sales and marketing job family. In the same way, all the activities or all the jobs which are related to human resources would be put into one family, which would be called as HR job family. Okay, so under organizational analysis, what are you doing? You are trying to identify what are the different jobs available in the organization, how these jobs are related, and how these jobs are linked to the organizational objectives, and how do they contribute towards the efficiency and effectiveness of the organization. Now, having studied the organizational analysis, or having conducted the first step, that is analyzing the jobs which are available in the organization, now the second step is selecting of representative positions which are going to be analyzed. Now, suppose you are working in a multinational company. Now, there could be hundreds of jobs which are available in this organization. Ask yourself, can you analyze all these 100 jobs? It is not possible. So, what do you do? The jobs which are identical to each other, you just take a sample of these jobs, that is a representative sample of the jobs. Then you analyze these particular jobs, keeping the cost and time constraint in your mind. Okay, that is why what I said, you are going to select a sample of representative positions from all the jobs which are available in the organization. Once this is done, then we move to the third step of job analysis, which is talking about collecting of the data for the process of job analysis. Now, in this step, what will you be doing? You will be talking to the people who are holding this particular job. You will be also talking to the supervisors of these job holders, and you will be asking that what task, what duties, what responsibilities are required in order to do this job satisfactorily, and what sort of personal attributes, that is what characteristics job holders should be having in order to carry out these tasks in a satisfactory manner, so that they can produce efficiently and effectively. So that is what is called as collection of job analysis data. Once you have collected all the data related to these representative positions, then you will be reviewing all the collected data, and thereafter final important part of job analysis comes, that is preparation of job description. Now, preparation of job description means describing all the contents of the job in terms of the functions which will be performed in this particular job, duties, responsibilities, operations that will be performed in this particular job. So, a written description will be prepared of all these activities, and this written description called as job description. All right, that is your first outcome of job analysis process. Then after that, you are going to prepare job specification. Now, what does job specification include? It is again a written document which will be having all the information about the personal attributes or the characteristics that a human resource or the job holder needs to have in order to perform this job. That is skills that he needs to have, what sort of technical skills, what sort of interpersonal skills he needs to have. Okay, then what sort of training he should have undergone, then what experience a person needs to have in order to be fit for this job, what educational qualification does he need to have in order to carry out this job. That all will be part of your job specification. So by the end of job analysis process, what do you get? You get two important documents which are called as job description and job specification. Okay, and you need to conduct job analysis in your organization from time to time, because as I said earlier, the jobs requirements keep changing from time to time. So in order to identify what are the requirements of the job, what do you need to do on a regular basis or on a periodical basis? You need to conduct job analysis. Now, what I said, at the end of job analysis, what are we getting? We are getting two important components. The first one is called job description and the second one is called job specification. Job description will be comprising of all the data related to the job. Okay, in a descriptive manner, it will be comprising of what is the title of the job, what is the position that the person is going to hold at this job, in which location the job or the position or the person will be located, what are the duties that he'll be performing, whom will the job holder be reporting to, that is, who will be the supervisor for the job incumbent, on what machines he'll be working, what will be the workplace environment, then what will be the standard working hours for doing this job, how many leaves will the person be given during a year, what responsibilities will be given to him. All this is part of your job description. And the second component that we get out of doing the process of job analysis is called job specification. Now under job specification, what all information we will be having? The educational qualification that is required to perform the job, the work experience, skills, trainings that the person should have undergone, and his personal and emotional characteristics or traits. So same is written here, that what is job description and what is job specification, as I told you. Now, having understood this, let us see how job analysis or the job description and job specification is prepared in the organizations. Now you can just zoom the slide. So what is here? I have given you a sample job description and sample job specification. Now whenever you people must have seen for an advertisement of any sort of job in the newspapers, what do you see? You see an advertisement something like this, all right? And when these companies are, what to say, even giving you offer letter, at the time of offer letter, very clearly the job description and job specification is mentioned. Okay, so what all information does it comprise of? Let us have a look here. Now in this slide, what I have shown is, this is an example for a salesperson who is selling financial services products. So just have a look here and then I will unmute you, and what you can do, just answer me that in this portion, which part belongs to job description and which part belongs to job specification, which all items belong to job description and which all items are part of your job specification. So what is mentioned is job title. What is the job title? It is financial planning sales. Classification, the person is going to be a full-time employee in the organization. In which department is he going to work? Financial product is his department. In which division is he going to work? He is going to work in Western region. Location, Orange County, California. And what is going to be his pay grade? He is going to be a grade 4 employee. That is level 4 employee, whereby he will be given basic salary plus commission. Now further they are mentioning what are the requirements of the job, that is summary of the job position that he is going to hold. Researches and identifies target client sectors for financial product services, develops and implements a sales process to include initial contact, follow-up, presentation and closing procedures, maintains records of contact and sales status including contact report, sales projections and quota ratios. What is his job duties? Research and create targeted new client lists within Orange County, California territory, makes initial contact with potential clients, performs routine and regular follow-up with potential clients, performs routine and regular follow-up with former clients, closes sales, maintains regular record reporting sales activity. Then computer skills and software that this person or the job holder should be having. He should have a knowledge of Windows operating system. He should have a knowledge of MS Office. Further, reporting structure. Whom is he going to report to? The job holder, that is the sales executive for whom this job description and job specification is prepared, will be reporting to regional sales manager, has nobody directly reporting to him, required to participate in annual sales meeting. And what are the employee requirements? His education and training. He should be a bachelor, he should be having bachelor's degree in business, finance or accounting, or 5 years experience and high school diploma, and bachelor's degree is preferred. And then ABC financial planning level 3 or higher knowledge he should be having. Now I'll just unmute you people so that you can tell me, having looked at this, which portions belong to job description and which portions belong to job specification.
The top part, ma'am, belongs to job description, job
Okay,
title, classification,
department, location, pay grade. Very good.
department, location, pay grade.
Perfect. What else?
That's it, ma'am.
Summary of position, job duties, both of them belong to job description. Okay, whereby what are they saying? That they are describing the job, that what a person has to do as a part of the job, what will be his duties, what will be his responsibilities, right? Reporting structure, whom the job holder will be reporting to, is again part of your job description. All right. Now somebody else can tell me, in this example which is shown to you, which portions belong to job specification. See, please understand it well, because tomorrow if you are working in an organization as a HR manager, then you will also have to design the job. When you will be designing the job, then what do? You have to mention the requirements of the job in terms of job description and job specification. So as a HR manager, you should be very thoroughly have a knowledge of what portion are part of job description and which portion are part of your job specification. Because when I say job specification, what did I say? It means the personal attributes of the person who is going to do the job, that will be falling under your job specification. But when we talk about job description, then under job description, what all falls is part of the job, that is the tasks that will be performed, duties and the responsibilities of the job. Yes, so who would be telling me, for job specification, which all portion is included?
Ma'am, employee requirements, the
Employee requirement.
job specification,
Yes, name the employee requirements. What is being mentioned?
education and training.
Very good. Education and training. What else?
Ma'am, computer skills.
Absolutely perfect. Very good. Thank you so much. Perfect. Job, computer skills and software used. You need to have a knowledge of all these operating systems, right? And what all software will be used, you need to know how to operate the software. This is also part of your job specification. Okay. So I hope now you people have very well understood which portions fall under job description and which portions fall under job specification. Now let us have a look at another example. Okay, now again go through it and then tell me which portion falls under job description and which portion falls under job specification. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. In this, I think the header, the summary,
Okay.
and scope and impact of job,
Is part of.
job description,
Very good.
and the required knowledge and experience that will come under.
So, okay, so it will be called as job specification, right? Perfect. Okay, moving further. For the same example, here what is mentioned, what are the responsibilities in addition to the target that the person has to achieve? This falls under your job description. Okay, having understood this, let us move further. Now let us have a look at what are the different methods for collecting the information for doing job analysis. Now, when we spoke about the process of job analysis, what we said, that the third step in the process of job analysis is about collecting the information about the different jobs which we are going to examine or which we are going to investigate, right? The techniques which are used for collecting this information fall under three categories. You have interview method, you have questionnaire method, and what you have is called observation method. Now, what happens in interview method? Now, one more thing, okay, you may ask me that, ma'am, who is going to conduct job analysis? Generally, a senior level manager in the organization or some external analyst is being hired in order to conduct the process of job analysis in the organization. Okay, and then he will be applying the techniques of interview method, questionnaire method, or observation method in order to collect all the information related to the jobs in the organization. So in the interview method, what will happen? This external analyst is going to hold face-to-face interview both with the job holder and the supervisors of this job holder. Then he will be asking job related questions to both of them in order to find out what sort of specific duties are to be performed at a particular job position, and thereby he will be interviewing the supervisor in order to find that what is the relationship of the job with the rest of the organization. So that is the first method of collecting information about various jobs which are available in the organization. Okay, that is interview method, as can be seen in this slide and the picture. A person is having an interview, okay, and all the questions related to the job is being asked from this job holder and also with the supervisors. Now, what is the advantage of collecting job analysis information through the interview method is, first of all, it is a direct way to get the information from the employees, but it has certain disadvantages. Now, the disadvantages are it's a time consuming process, because suppose you are one of the external analysts. Now you have chosen certain jobs in your organization which you are going to investigate in order to find out what sort of specific activities or duties are to be performed in this job in order to finally come out with job description and job specification about it. Now, for all these jobs, you need to have face-to-face interview with all the job holders and their supervisors. It requires a lot of time. It's a costly process. And sometimes, if you are a job holder and somebody comes to interview and is asking you about what sort of activities you are doing on a job, and it is not clear to you that for what purpose is this person interviewing me, you may sometimes give distorted information. You may exaggerate the kind of work you are doing, thinking that you are being interviewed for performance appraisal, and you may think that maybe on based on this interview they are going to increase my salary, or they are going to make the decision of how much incentives have to be given to me. So what you may do, you may give a greater weightage to the tasks and duties that you are doing, which would result in distorted information. Okay, whereby the external analyst will not get a clear picture of all the tasks, duties, and responsibilities that you are doing in real. So that is one of the disadvantage. Now, what are the interview formats? See, whenever we talk of interview format or the method of interview, there are two different methods of interview. First method is called a structured interview. Now, what happens, as the name says, in the structured interview, the external analyst has a checklist of the questions prepared in front of him. So he has already prepared what questions he is going to ask from the supervisor and from the job holder. All right, related to the job that he is going to investigate upon. And the other method of conducting the interview is called unstructured method of interview. In unstructured method of interview, there is no checklist which external analyst has prepared beforehand. So whatever questions related to the job comes into the mind of the external analyst, he just keeps on asking them or keeps on throwing them to the supervisor and the job holder. Okay, so that is called unstructured. He has not prior prepared the list of questions that he is going to ask from the job holder or from the supervisor. Now, that is the first method of collecting the information about the jobs Now, the second method of collecting information about the job is called questionnaire method. Now, what is questionnaire method? In questionnaire method, you are giving questionnaires to the job holders and the supervisors for their job, whereby the employees are asked to fill out the questionnaire and describe what sort of job related duties and responsibilities they are performing. Now, again, the format of the questionnaire is structured here, okay, whereby there is a checklist which is prepared, a set of questions are written in this questionnaire, and they are distributed to all the job holders and their supervisors for those job positions which we have chosen for examining. Now, in the structured format of questionnaire, what do we have is open-ended question. Now, see, many of you might have seen how the questionnaires are. And as a student of management, many of you might have also prepared questionnaires for your project work in the past. Now, when we talk about questionnaires, questions which are available in the questionnaire are of two types. First set of questions are called open-ended questions, and the second sort of questions are called close-ended questions. Now, what is open-ended question? If I put a question in my questionnaire as what sort of skills are required in order to perform your job, dash. Then as an employee, what am I doing? I am going to fill out that what sort of skills I think as an employee are required to perform my job. For example, I may write that for my job, for the job that I am doing, technical skills are must. Now, what sort of technical skills are required? You need to have knowledge of, say, MS Office. You need to have knowledge of, say, SPSS. Okay, you need to have knowledge about C language or whatever for that matter. Now, this is called open-ended question, whereby I am giving answers, writing the answers for the questions which have been asked from me. But then there could be also close-ended questions. What is closed-ended question? Whereby I am writing a question, at this particular job, following skills are required. Then I'm giving 4 to 5 options. Option number 1, technical skill. Option number 2, interpersonal skill. Option number 3, conceptual skill. Option number 4, good communication skill. So what are you doing out of these 4 options which have been given to you? You can choose any one or any 2 or any 3 skills, or all the skills which you think are required in order to perform your job. That is called closed ended questions, whereby answers are also given to you and you just have to choose from the options which have been given to you as an answer. But when we talk about collecting the job analysis related information, that what do we do? In the questionnaire, we put only open-ended questions, whereby no options are given. So employees can think and write whatever they feel like in the answer for the questions related to the job which are being asked. Now, one of the advantages of this sort of method is it is quick, because for all the jobs that you are going to examine, okay, or for which you are going to conduct the job analysis, you simply have to distribute the questionnaire. Okay, you can distribute it manually, okay, or you can send it through their email or through WhatsApp, and within fraction of time the employees may answer it. So it is possible to collect information from large number of employees at a very fast pace, okay, that is very quickly. But same is not true in the case of interview, because you have to personally have interview with all the job incumbents and their supervisor, which is time consuming. So now here this is an advantage in the method of questionnaires. But what is a disadvantage? It is expensive method. Okay, why it is expensive method? Because to prepare the questionnaire, you need to spend a lot of time. Then you need to spend a lot of time on printing them out, okay, or you need to spend a lot of time on putting them into the Google form and sending it to the people. So it is both expensive and time consuming. And at the same time, one of the disadvantage is that sometimes the employees or the job incumbents may not like to answer the questionnaire. Okay, they may be scared to answer the questionnaire. So you need to motivate them in order to answer the questions which have been asked related to the job, and also you need to motivate them to answer it truthfully, because some people, as was we have seen in the interview method also, they may give distorted information about their job role. All right. So that is the method of questionnaire. And then the last method of conducting job analysis, collecting job analysis information is called personal observation, whereby no interview is conducted, no questionnaire is given. What you are doing, you are simply going and observing the job holder. What sort of work is he doing? What sort of working environment is in which he is performing the job? How many hours does he work? Okay, what sort of qualities does he have? All this information is being collected by personally observing the job holder and his supervisor. So that is called the method of personal observation, whereby you are observing and noting down the physical activities that are carried out by the job holder as they go about their jobs. Now the advantage of this method is that you as an external analyst are getting first hand information about the job, and it also reduces distortion of information, because you are not asking the job holder that what all is he going to do or what all he is doing as part of his job. You're just observing him quietly. Okay, but again the disadvantages are it is very time consuming, because you have to personally observe each of those job incumbents for which you are going to examine the job. So it is time consuming and it is difficult in capturing entire job cycle. Now what is the meaning of job cycle? Whenever a job is being performed, right from the beginning of what tasks are required to perform the job till end of completion of the job, you have to keep observing him. Now that is again not easy for the external analyst to ensure that he is observing the job holder from for the entire job cycle. Okay, that another disadvantage is mental efforts that are being put by a person on a job cannot be evaluated through observation. And finally, we have come to the last topic for today, that is importance, significance, or purpose of job analysis. Now, when we studied what job analysis is, we came to know that the outcome or the byproducts of job analysis are job descriptions and job specifications. Now, with the help of job analysis and its byproducts, we can use them in order to do HR planning. They can be used for recruitment purpose, for selection, for compensation, for training and development, for performance appraisal, for ensuring health, safety and security of employees, and for maintaining union relations. Now, when I say that job analysis and its byproduct are used for human resource planning, what I mean that job analysis helps in forecasting human resource requirements in terms of both knowledge and skills that are required to perform a job. It will also help in determining quality of human resources that will be needed in an organization in the times to come. Then let us have a look at how job analysis helps in recruitment part. Now job analysis is used to find out how and when to hire people for future job openings. Now, understanding of the skills which are needed and the positions that are vacant in the future will be helping the managers to plan and also to hire people in a systematic way. Now, let us take an example here. Suppose a company might be traditionally hiring MBA students for equity research. But after doing a recent job analysis, it was found that positions could be filled by graduates with an analytical bent of mind. Now, this would be helping the company in hiring equity analysts from a greater number of available graduates, even by offering them a slightly lower salary rather than hiring MBA students. All right. Now, this is one of the advantages of job analysis. Further, job analysis also helps in selection. Without a proper understanding of what is to be done at the job, it is not possible to select the right person for the right position. Let us take an example here. If there is a super bazaar manager, he has not clearly identified that what his sales executives have to do, then in that case it is difficult to identify if the person who has been selected for this position would be running the cash counter properly, would be storing the items properly, or would be doing the sales for the products properly or not. Okay, now moving ahead, let us have a look at how job analysis helps in compensation, that is in wage and salary administration, by indicating the qualifications which are required for doing a specific job and the risks and hazards which are involved in the performance. HR manager can design the salary and wage administration for each and every job that is available in the organization. So job analysis is again used as a foundation for job evaluation. Okay, now let us have a look at what is training and how does job analysis helps in training. Now, if there is any confusion about what the job is, what sort of activities are to be performed at the job, then proper training efforts cannot be initiated. Whether or not a current or potential job holder requires additional training can be determined only after the specific needs of the job have been identified through job analysis. Now, job analysis also plays an important role in performance appraisal. Now, by comparing what an employee is supposed to be doing based on job analysis to what the individual has actually done, the worth of that person can be assessed and the worth of his job can be assessed. Ultimately, every organization has to pay a fair remuneration to all the employees based on their performance in the organization. And to achieve this, it is necessary to compare what individuals should be doing as per the performance standards which have been set for them with what they have actually done as per job analysis. So that is how job analysis also plays an important role in performance appraisal. Then job analysis also plays an important role in maintaining health, safety and security. It provides an opportunity for identifying hazardous conditions and unhealthy environmental factors so that corrective measures may be taken to minimize and avoid the possibility of accidents. And finally, job analysis plays an important role in union relations. There is a clarity among the employees on what they are supposed to perform, and if the job description and job specification are clearly laid down, then there will not be any confusion on the duties and responsibilities which are to be performed by the employees, or it would not result in any sort of conflict between union and management, because there is a clarity of roles which has already been informed to both the management and to the employees working in the organization. This would result in good relations between both the union and the management. So that is all about importance or significance or purpose of job analysis. So what we have covered in today's lecture is what is job analysis, what are the components of job analysis and the process of job analysis. Then we also saw what all techniques are used for collecting the information about the jobs that are going to be analyzed. Thereafter we have seen importance, significance and purpose of job analysis. So that is all for today's lecture. Thank you so much for your time.